It's Tuesday. I'm going to start saying that, so I got to hold myself to actually uploading on Tuesday. Welcome to Ask MandR, episode 355. The series where I answer your questions. If you have a question or topic for next week's episode, drop it in the comments section down below. On this week's episode, we're going to talk about LEGO's tariff pricing or potential post-tariff pricing, reacting to some old LEGO Star Wars content, discussing LEGO Star Wars army building, and much more. If you enjoy, hit the like button, and let's get into our first question from Koon. He says, if the tariffs are removed, do you think LEGO will lower set prices to what the original rumors were, or will they just keep them the same? Love your videos. Keep up the good work. We kind of discussed this a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago. Prices tend to be sticky, and the more this has gone on, the more I'm pretty certain that the prices will just stay where they are, no matter what happens. Unless sales are absolutely abysmal, there's just no way they're going to lower the prices back down, because once the tariffs go away, well, there's an extra 10% for LEGO, because they raised the price so they don't have to pay the tariff, right? And then if that goes away, they can just keep all of that extra money for themselves. You think LEGO wouldn't do that? Come on now. Of course they're going to do that. I'm actually curious, because this new battle pack is $23 instead of $20, how they've handled this in like Denmark, let's say. In Denmark, the battle pack from last year is more expensive than the battle pack from this year. So in Denmark, the price went down for the new battle pack. What? I didn't even expect that. That was not. I was just expecting it to be the same, but no. It literally 2023's battle pack was 180 kroner. 2024's battle pack was 200 kroner, and 2025's battle pack is 180 kroner. It went back down. What? Yo, other country pricing makes no sense to me. I think we all learned nothing there. Next from Paul, he says, hey Ryan, what are your thoughts on wrapping the heck out of brand new in-box sets with plastic wrap in order to keep them fresh and free from shelfware, etc.? Thanks. Yeah, I think it's a great idea. In fact, I think stores should do this. Not like your Walmart, your Target, your Lego store, but third-party stores when they're selling some older, expensive sets. I don't know where the line in the sand should be. Certainly not everything. But recently, back in November, I bought a Sith Fury class interceptor from a Bricks and Minifigs in Louisville, Kentucky, I think. And I walked in and it was perfectly preserved in this like shrink wrap that kept the box from getting, because people could just walk in and handle the boxes. So like, it's nice that a box that's 15 years old is going to cost you $400, $500 is protected from any random person coming in and doing some damage to it, because that protects the store too, right? Because it will affect the value, whether or not people online like that. It's going to affect the value if the box gets dinged up quite a bit to collectors. And I as a collector, wanted a nice box, and I saw it in that saran wrap. It looked nice, and I was like, I got to have this one. Now, for your own personal collection, I think it's a bit different. Unless you're storing it in a way where it could get damaged, I don't see why you would do this. Maybe if you're going to display it open air and you really want to have it protected, doing something like they did with the Sith Fury class interceptor would make a lot of sense. But I just don't think for like normal collectors, me and you, you're going to get a lot of benefit from that. Like, I don't see a reason for me to do that with anything that I own currently. But like I said, I think it's good for like third-party stores to be doing stuff like that. I don't see a reason for you to do that unless you're like moving it or doing something crazy with it. Like, I could set this box inside the case behind me and it would be fine for 50 years. It doesn't need to be saran wrapped or whatever. Obviously, you want to do something nicer if you're going to display it, but yeah, I don't think you need to is the point. I don't know how to pronounce this guy's name. Next from Caro something, I'm not pronouncing that. Should I buy the Koon Starfighter from 2010 or get the Jedi Bob one with the blue plane? Also, should I wait for there to be another Millennium Falcon or get the one that's in stores right now? If you're talking about the UCS one, I would probably wait for them to refresh it at this point, because I think they will. If you're talking about the Dark Falcon's a very cool, like, different item, but I wouldn't use that as a replacement for a normal Falcon, so it kind of depends on how you feel about that, but the Dark Falcon is really awesome if that's what you're looking for. But as it pertains to the 2010 Koon Starfighter versus the fan model that, you know, gives you a full-size Koon Starfighter, I think the fan model makes a lot of sense because it's going to be a lot cheaper. It's going to cost you like $44 all in or whatever to do that. If you are going to buy the thing online, I'll put my link on screen somewhere and in the description for an affiliate link. I should have done that last week, I guess. But it's going to be a lot cheaper than buying this 2010 model. The other benefit is that it's in the dark blue color. This is the light blue color. It's a nice color. It certainly works, but the dark blue color is very much the better color. To give it another ding, though, the lines on it aren't as perfect as maybe an official LEGO set would be, because it obviously isn't going to be using stickers and stuff like that. So there are some upsides and downsides there, but ultimately because of how affordable it is to make that fan model of a Plo Koon Starfighter relative, like if you wanted to buy a sealed one of these, it might cost you $150 or $200. I'm not up to date on the pricing, but just giving you a ballpark there. It's going to be somewhere like that. I think it makes a lot of sense for the vast majority of people to do that. Maybe you could buy a good condition used one, get it for $60, $70. I don't know what they go for, but you know, somewhere in the same neighborhood. But I still think you'd be very well off doing the custom model if you're into that sort of thing. Next, from Joey, he says, what was the last set that you can recall that had no errors in minifigures and build? Just perfect, not including the UCS AT-AT. Well, the UCS AT-AT had printed waist capes for their snowtroopers, so I don't think we could call that one perfect, as much as it is very much a top Lego Star Wars set of all time. Just thinking back to last summer, sets like the Dark Falcon come close, and then you don't have the dual molded leg with C-3PO, the Blue Milk Luke isn't printed for Luke, so like, can you call that a perfect, quote, just perfect is what you're looking for? The Star Destroyer maybe is something that you could say comes close to that, or maybe meets that for you. I think it's definitely in that neighborhood. The Super Star Destroyer or midi scale set, like I think we just have to go back to last year to get a couple of potential good answers for this. Maybe the Kylo Ren's helmet from this year, because obviously it's got prints instead of stickers, so it ends up looking really, really good. So yeah, I don't think we have to go back very far. I think there's definitely going to be examples from many years, if you go back throughout Lego Star Wars history, of sets that you would consider to be perfect or just about perfect. George says, do you ever use your Legos to display in a cool action setting, or do you just prefer to display them naturally on a shelf? And I like just putting them on the shelf generally. I'm not huge into setting up a big action scene. I know there are people that do that, and it looks amazing when you really execute well. Part of my deal is I try not to put the minifigs on my displays. It's kind of a separate thing or display, or will be, or I don't know. I keep them in bags right now, but the idea is that I keep my minifigs separated. I don't know why I do it like that, but ever since I was a kid, I've done it like that, so that's probably not going to change. Now, there's a few sets on my display currently that I've got some minifigs in, especially when it comes to the Desert Skiff and Sarlacc pit from last summer. I think I just put it in the shelf with the figs because I was busy and never took the figs out to put them where they actually are supposed to go, but that's certainly something that I would say is an action scene. The Tantive 4 hallway also has some minifigs in it that are in a bit of an action scene, but generally, I am going for more of a, I don't, museum is probably the wrong word because it's not that level, but like very much like something just look at and enjoy like the purity of the set and not like the display of what it's doing. That's a weird way to word it, but I'm trying to think about kind of what you're asking. I absolutely love when people do action displays and battles. Like if I could have the space like of a big enough shelf to do a full Hoth scene on a display, I would probably be inclined to do that. But at the same time, I also like just here's a set, here's the set, here's a set. And like maybe at some point I will add the minifigs in and it'll just be set with the figure standing in front of it, set with the figure standing in front of it, etc. all the way down. And that would maybe be ideal because that would keep everything together in one place when I need it. So I don't know. June says, is there any reason to keep instructions and boxes if I don't intend to sell the set? And there's very few reasons to do this. There's a case like mine where let's say in the future Lego is going to come out with another Plo Koon Starfighter big build, not a microfighter build. I'm going to want to have this box for that comparison video. I am. And maybe in the future, I'm going to want to do a video about every 2010 set. I'm going to want to have this box for that. So I have like content reasons to keep it all. Even before that, though, I was as a young kid trying to keep it all, you know? So that really hasn't changed regardless of the reasoning behind it. But I do think if you can detach yourself from wanting to keep stuff like that, it will significantly reduce the clutter in your life. It is a really good idea to throw out your boxes and instructions. You really don't need them. Like when I moved out of my parents' house, I had a bunch of boxes still there somewhat recently, and I went and just burned them all because I was like, all right, most of these are garbage. They're not really worth much more than $1 each. Like I'm not going to go through the hassle of selling them all for $1. So I just took them out back and lit them up in some good flames there, and just to get rid of them, just so I didn't have to drag them out to my new house or whatever. And because I knew also in a lot of these cases, I already had bought a new version of the set, or I was going to buy a new version of the set. In every case, that was the case. I wouldn't burn a box that I needed to keep for my one of one, right? So I got rid of a lot of boxes like that. So, you know, I can detach from some of it, but some of it I got to keep. Like I got to keep one of everything just to say I have one of everything is kind of the idea. But I think for most fans, throwing out your boxes and instructions will be very beneficial to your life. Just make sure you scan the thing, get your free 20 VIP points or whatever it is, and then just toss it. You'll be better off for it. Stefan Marbury fan, phenomenal name, says MandR is going to be a geezer and be like, I remember when battle packs were $14. No, I mean, unironically though, it's insane how fast they've gone up from 10 to 23 now, because they were $10, and then they were 11, and then they were 12, and then they were 13. I was like, all right, that happens. And then they became 15. They were 15 for a while. And then when they became 20 in 2021, you can go back and watch my video about this. The assumption out there was, at least from me, is that they wouldn't change battle pack prices for like the rest of the decade. I thought $20 was the price for the decade. We made it halfway through before they couldn't help themselves but increase it by $3. Obviously, there's some outside forces potentially with that, but LEGO still increased the price by $3, and now battle packs are $23 as a standard in the US, and it's crazy. Yeah, I think by the end of the decade, the price will absolutely be up again. I think by or in 2030, you'll see them jump up to $25. That seems like the next logical price bump. Although I suppose I also wouldn't be surprised if they went to $26.99, because that's another price point that they've used a lot. Like you see with the Speed Champions, $26.99 and a lot of stuff. So I don't think they've really used that price for Star Wars stuff. But I think that battle packs could very much see that price by 2030. I feel like I'm doing a price target for like a stock, but like, yeah, it's kind of nuts, kind of bad. Not Liked says, what happened to No Shave November? Not on my watch on, but I believe it is now June. And I also do like shaving because I look really bad if I don't. So yeah, no thanks. I've been dying to get to these next couple of questions because we're going to get to watch some old MandR content here. Jock Cole says, hey, I made my LEGO 2010 Snowtrooper into a Galactic Marine based off of your own video. So I think he's saying that he took some Sharpie to a Galactic Marine like I did back in 2010. And ended up with something like this. And I should say this here, I have seen the new Galactic Marine. It looks very good. Like the helmet mold is awesome. It's just like the printed waist cape. You can't, like, what are we doing? Like, we waited 20 years for this figure, and this is like, we're just getting a slop version of the figure. You know, it's not a bad looking figure aesthetically as far as like modern clone troopers go. It's pretty good. And that's as far as modern clone troopers go. But like, the helmet's nice. The torso print's nice, but it's like, oh, printed waist cape. We're cheap and we're lazy. We're putting this in a $160 set and we can't give it a waist cape. It's unbelievable what they've done to, yeah, it's just sad. So the figure looks nice. I think people are generally going to like it, but also, yeah, tough one there as far as the quality of it goes.
I'm here on a quite long-awaited video. A lot of people have been asking me
Long-awaited.
So I decided, let's do it.
That's crazy. Okay. I can't believe people were asking me to do this because this is not that good. But it was 2010, so fair. God, it looks so shiny there. They do not look that shiny anymore. I think I sprayed it with like a sealer too back in the day. I think that probably helped.
So you can get these Skylegs with the old Rebel Trooper battle pack. Pretty hard to find.
It was retired. Yeah. And the Rebel Trooper battle pack was retired by then. That's crazy.
Color it.
Oh, the video focused really well there for a second.
Very carefully. I did mine very slowly, very carefully.
Oh, that's a nice shot. Look at that Sharpie. Really, you can see the texture of the strokes from the Sharpie. That's crazy. That's a really decent camera shot for 2010. I'm surprised that this is that good.
You'll need 2 black hands.
Actually, I love that I just remember randomly 2 minutes in that you need black hands. That's hilarious.
Red, except for this
definitely all red.
Right
Look at that attention to detail. I didn't color that red. I left it white. Got to keep it accurate as possible, right?
And then you're going to take the gray part like this, You're going to take the gray part, you're going to snap
Man, this is a horrible explanation.
First, you should be pretty much done. I put clear gloss on
it. Looks like so decent. It's crazy. It's so decent. It's like for 2010, so decent. That's the best thing I can say about it. That's crazy.
I'm sorry that I didn't do the full interview thing on how to do it, make one actually. But I really just don't have the time right now.
I don't have the time. Maybe later on. Was I in?
But if you're gonna use this Galactic Marine,
and I didn't have the time. Oh, give me credit. Give me credit if you use it. How did I not have the time? BrickTick says, why is it I can't find a single review on your channel for the 2009 Tank Droid? I can find one for 2013, but I don't like that one as much. Also, one of the light bluish gray droid arms on the eye stalks of my 2009 Tank Droid is failing. What should I do? You should probably just order a new part for that. That's probably very inexpensive. Or ask LEGO customer service. I'm sure they'll just send you one. That 2009 Corporate Alliance Tank Droid is one of my favorite LEGO Star Wars sets of all time. Got a lot of love, nostalgia for that one. And for whatever reason, I just have not gotten around to doing a modern review of the set. I do have it sealed upstairs in my closet, ready to build and review someday when I have the time for that specific set. But in lieu of that, you're gonna get enlightened here. I've got a review of it from July 30th, 2009. My description says great set, $24.99, 9 out of 10. So there's your rating from 2009 from me. See, I really liked it back then, still really like it to this day, and I figure we should watch a little bit of this together to see how bad this review was.
Hi, it's me, Ryan, and I'm here to do a review on the LEGO Star Wars
The lighting is horrible. I think I did this at my grandparents' house in South Carolina because I bought it at Toys R Us. Look at that awesome back of the box shot.
And the front of the box.
There's like one light in that room. It's like above the garage. Not, you know, one of those like converted bedroom feeling rooms. Oh, look at the shadow. You can't see anything. This is horrible. Why would I have done this here? I wanted to get the review out quickly. I had nothing else to do, I guess.
Now, this droid has the one curved arm on its left arm.
Back when curved arm, straight arm was still new.
On its right. That's the new gun that came out in 07.
Yeah, the new gun from 07 is crazy to say. Wow, it's insane.
And it comes with these awesome 2 jet troopers. Now on the front, you're like, those are regular ones. Take a look at the back. This is the most detailed thing I think I've ever seen LEGO do with a minifigure. Or at least a addition.
I just said it was the most detailed thing I've seen LEGO do with a minifig, and I don't think I was wrong. To that point, like I guess, like as far as an extra piece for a character, to that point, I don't know. Oh, my PSP! Oh.
Yeah.
Whoa! Come on, just do it. Taking forever. Holy crap! That was a.
That's bad.
Okay, flew.
They fly now. They fly now.
Whoever wrote episode 9 did not buy LEGO Star Wars sets in 2009. Oh wait, right, J.J. Abrams.
I think the battle droids, because you can get like 20 with an MTT, and I have one of those, so I don't really
Man, what a privilege. You can get like 20 with an MTT. You could not do that today. You could not. That's what it. Both a privilege to like be able to get known that set, but also like that LEGO sold something like that in both ways.
Better on carpet.
It's crazy. It does work better on carpet still. Yeah. It's always been the case. Oh, it's not working at all. There we go.
Like that.
This is a pretty horrible review, as you would expect. But the set has aged much better than the review. The set's still arguably the best Corporate Alliance tank droid.
These can go up and down. Pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. A 12-year-old's opinion of flick-fire missiles.
Really, I don't agree with those. I hate them. They're stupid.
I hate them and they're stupid. Never change.
Slave 1
just like so many things today. Same thing. Dude, you can't tell me I've changed. I haven't. I've always been the same. That's crazy. I hate them and they're stupid. My shadow just covers most things I'm looking at. Wow, that was a quick end. It was just like, all right, that's everything. Bye. Definitely one that I need to do a new review of, clearly. Hot take, most Star Wars sets for 2008 and 2009 aren't that good. Not all. Also, I love your videos. I love how he's like, I hate all of the sets that you probably love. Love your videos, though. From a very objective standpoint, you are not wrong. A lot of early LEGO Star Wars sets just aren't as good as what would come after. I consider the golden era of LEGO Star Wars to be 2005 to 2014. I'm going to use this as a prime example. In this era, there are sets that see multiple versions where the first version is significantly worse than the second version, so how could you possibly call the first version part of the golden era? I don't know. But it is. Anakin Starfighter from 2005 is a great example of that. It's nowhere near as good as the version from 2014, and of course what they would later release in 2020. Who knows about the next version, because the new canopy piece might just be worse. But obviously 2005 is not as good as 2014 and 2020. And the point, though, is like, this is still an incredible set. For its time, it was peak. And that's part of like the discussion around LEGO. Like the way that I frame it in my mind is like, this was the best version of the thing. Then the next version came out that was better, and they kept improving. And then what has happened is now they're no longer improving in certain areas. Things are getting worse, and that sucks. But yeah, even though this Anakin Starfighter isn't as good as the newer versions, this set is still, to me, indicative of like a time of LEGO Star Wars being great, or trying to be as great as it can with what it had, more so with what LEGO had as far as pieces available at the time, pushing, continuing to improve and push boundaries from what it was. I mean, just a year, 2 years prior to this, we had yellow LEGO minifigures, So we were seeing improvements year over year, and that has very much changed in a lot of ways modern day. But you're not wrong. It depends on your point of view on it. Like, they are not as good as modern builds in a lot of cases, maybe close to all cases, like just by the pure fact of what pieces they had available to them. But They're still really good sets. Sonia says, your thoughts on the Nike shoes? I mean the collab, speaking of the Lego Nike collab. And I think there's shoes and a set that we need to look at. We'll start with the shoes, which are not really much of a fashion statement. I do like that they have a lot of studs on them. It definitely feels very Lego-y. I like that they put the Lego logo on there, but I will not be caught dead wearing these. I much prefer my Donovan Mitchell, and I'm a Celtics fan. I don't even really like Donovan Mitchell. I much prefer my Donovan Mitchell Adidas Lego shoes to these. You know, if I got to wear some yellow shoes, at least it's got like a cool basketball player on it. You know, and these aren't horrible, but I don't know. They're not for me, certainly. When it comes to the set, I'm kind of feeling the same way. Like, I think it's better, actually, than the Adidas shoe set. Like, way better. Didn't really care for the Adidas one at all. However, it's like, okay, cool, a logo that says dunk. I don't know. This feels like it's really good for an 8-year-old, and maybe that's what they're going for. Like, it's great. Like, I can see this in my cousin Camden's room all day long for the last 10 years. Like, this is the sort of thing he would own. He's going to watch this video and call me, I guarantee it. And then the basketball minifig is a nice cherry on top. Definitely makes you feel like that Star Wars logo set could have had a George Lucas minifig, though, doesn't it? Doesn't it? It does. It does. It does. The basketball minifig's really cool, though. Dual molded legs. You got a printed basketball head. Like, I feel like as a basketball NBA fan, I play a lot of pickup basketball. I feel like I'm almost obligated to buy a set like this and do a review of it. Maybe I should do a shoe review of the. I don't think those are basketball shoes, though. I think those are like running Air Maxes or something. So really not good to play basketball in, but I could do a review of them. Are those? Whoa. I'm looking at like one of the advertising pictures. The spacemen are wearing the Clone Trooper jetpack from the 2009 Corporate Alliance tank droid. The Clone Trooper jetpack instead of their jetpacks. That's an interesting choice. Xeon, he says, when do you think we will see the return of Phase 1 clones and sets? I've always preferred the Phase 1 design, and I think it would help ease the backlash on the clone helmets. Yeah, I mean, it would completely eradicate the backlash on clone helmets because those clone helmets aren't bad, so that would help that. But I really don't know why they basically stuck strictly with Phase 2 clones. In fact, I mean, think about this. We would have only gotten Phase 2 clones from 2020 to now, and this is a lot of different clone troopers at this point, if it weren't for the Republic gunship, the UCS gunship, the gunship gang. You know, getting that UCS gunship. Like, otherwise they wouldn't have put the clone commander in that set, and they wouldn't have then released that clone minifig pack to put that clone commander in a cheaper set, and then done the advent calendar, put the clone commander in another set just because Hans Burkhead Schlomer wanted to do that. Otherwise, like, literally Lego clearly just wants to do Phase 2 clones because they've done that for 5 years. Like, or I guess this is technically the 6th year because 2020, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 now. So 6 years of Phase 2 only clones other than the gunship gang basically forcing Lego to include a Phase 1 clone. Well, Lego forced themselves by not including the clone pilot. It's all... Oh, it gets muddy real quick there. Anyway, I have no idea when we will see the return because I would have thought they would have been back by now, right? Because they've been doing Clone Trooper sets basically for 6 years now because of the File First Battle Pack movement, all butterfly effect, right? You know, 6 years now of more Clone Trooper sets than they were doing previously, and Phase 1 clones have not been part of that agenda at all. Really interesting, I'd say. I have no idea why. I couldn't put a timeline on it. Could be next year, could be 5 years from now. Hard to tell. Amando says, if you had to guess, what do you think the next helmet set will be? So I think next year we won't see any helmet sets because I'm hoping that they'll do diorama sets next year, and it'll be kind of a back and forth like I've mentioned in some previous videos. But if I had to bet money on the next wave of helmet sets, a helmet set that is definitely going to be in there, they got to do an Emperor's Royal Guard. That one has definitely been sitting there for the taking, and it would add perfectly to the Imperial collection that they've got going on. I'm looking at my 2007 Star Wars Celebration thing. You know, you've got Darth Vader, you've got the 2 Stormtroopers, but you need the 2 Royal Guards to kind of complete that collection, or Royal Guard if you just want one of each, obviously. So I think the Emperor's Royal Guard is definitely one that we got to see come 2026 or 2027. Anyway, if you have a question or topic for next week's episode, drop in the comment section down below. And I got a quick bombshell for you guys. I bought something. I bought a Corvette. Yep, Rapid Blue, just like I wanted. It's not. I had to go to Lego store to get this. I was like, man, because I got the yellow one over there. So at some point I'll review the 2 of them together, I'm sure. But yeah, hit the like button if you enjoyed. Questions, topics down below, and we'll see you next week or more so midweek with some more set reviews.